a compromise at the state capitol over how to address rising juvenile crime. Today, lawmakers voted to move a bill forward that would make it easier for youth detention facilities to hold more kids in custody. This is a potential solution News 5 has covered extensively. Colorado Springs police say the youth detention facility here in the Springs is constantly full, meaning many juveniles are often released back out on the street after they've been arrested. Others question if detaining kids is the right answer for rehabilitation. Today we heard from both sides about the issue and the compromise reached to push a solution forward.
Kids are fighting over things that kids have fought over for time immemorial. What is different now is that they are bringing deadly weapons to those fights.
Detailed testimony at the state capitol from district attorneys across Colorado.
We have seen a substantial rise in the number of juvenile delinquency cases.
They're talking about the strain rising juvenile crime has put on their communities.
I have filed homicides where a juvenile killed another juvenile in a dispute about a girl. I have filed a juvenile homicide case where a juvenile killed another juvenile in a dispute about a sweatshirt.
Here in Colorado Springs, the city says it's seen a 60% increase in the number of violent juvenile suspects since 2021. Also, the recent trend of smash and grab burglaries has impacted businesses across the city.
So this is right where it happened, right here.
Including this gun shop on the east side.
They rammed the wall right here. It took 4 hits.
Where police say a group of suspects used a stolen vehicle to ram through the storefront and steal several guns. The same thing happened at this vape shop last July.
You don't know who's safe anymore, you know?
The first thing that caught my attention was that how little the driver was. Barely came up to the mirror on that Kia, and I mean, it was a little kid driving that thing.
Police say juveniles are suspects in the vast majority of the dozens of smash and grabs over the past year.
When we go back and recontact them and rearrest them, to them, they are so often telling our detectives, okay, yeah, I'll be out and I'll be doing this again tomorrow.
In a previous interview with News 5, the Colorado Springs police chief says kids who commit crimes that would often put them in a detention facility are often let back out on the streets. He says this is because there's not enough space in juvenile detention facilities. 4th Judicial District Attorney Michael Allen agreed.
What we know now is that we're almost always operating at capacity, meaning that there's always 27 kids in custody. So if a kid commits a violent offense and is put into custody pending trial, that means another kid has to be pushed out of the other side and back into a home life that's not supportive and law-abiding, right?
One solution to address the rise in juvenile crime is to increase the bed cap at youth detention facilities across the state. Over the years, lawmakers have reduced the bed cap by more than half to 215 beds today, with 22 emergency beds available under certain circumstances. The Pikes Peak region is given 27 beds at the facility in Colorado Springs. That brings us back to the state capitol, where a bill has been introduced to increase the bed cap to 254 beds. After some big changes to the legislation, lawmakers passed the bill out of committee in a 12-1 vote. Those changes include doing away with a bed cap increase and instead making 39 emergency beds easier to access. The bill says the emergency beds would be available to use without a court order, which is currently required. The proposed criteria also says emergency beds can only be used if all the beds in the district are taken. The ACLU of Colorado says the bill would help reduce the strain on judicial districts while providing support for youth.
The 215 bed cap is meant to create a strain. It's intentional because the state should have to be intentional about whether or not a kid actually needs to be detained pre-trial.
Say this bill does go through, becomes law. Would you say this is just one part of the solution?
I would say this is a step in the right direction.
Jesse Kimber, the Director of Economic Development for the City of Colorado Springs, says the city supports the legislation, but is also in favor of even more detention beds.
They absolutely need intervention. They need opportunity. And we also have to hold people accountable.
The bill now heads to the House Appropriations Committee for more discussion. We wanted to take a look at just how full youth detention facilities are right now in Colorado. Numbers from the Division of Youth Services shows on Tuesday, 170 youth were being held in Colorado. That's 80% of the total 215 beds allowed under current state law. Here in Colorado Springs, the Zebulon Pike Youth Services Center has 26 of its 27 beds taken up. The Youth Services Center in Pueblo is almost 70% full, with 13 of its 19 beds taken by detained juveniles.